After running out to the job site or getting some field information from somebody else who ran out to the job site for you, it's time to go back into this project and update it with all that information. So in this next one, we're going to finish up this kitchen project, update it with the field measurements, and proceed with production. So now for another lesson in Toolbox. Now we've already spent a lot of time on these drawings, making sure that everything's matching per our red line markups that our customer sent back to us. But we had to do that just so they could take a look at it, make sure everything looks good on their end, and give us the green light to proceed. Now that they've done that, the job site's ready to measure, and now we got to go back in again to update with field measurements. And this is pretty common, right? It's just a lot of times the job site's just not ready to the last minute. So when they call you and tell you to come field measure, we got to get back into this project and update it as quick as possible so we can send it out to production. So what we're going to do is adjust our wall length. Now we've gone through the process in a previous video, but this time we're going to do it with actual products on it. So let's go to the microbalance palette under Modify Room Components and Adjust Wall Length. But we're going to start with elevation A. So the current wall length is 120. After we've gone out and measured and we have an exact length, it comes out to, let's say, 118.5. Now we do have the option to go into the drawing and select the products that we want to change, or we can just check the box here. So because it's 1.5 inches difference, we'll just carry that over these 3 products here. Don't forget to check that guy. And why don't we take it off of the cabinet on the left-hand side? So we're taking it off of this upper cabinet and then 3 drawer banks in the middle. Now for the anchor point, we're going to say leave it at the end point. So there's our end point of the wall. We want that to remain. And before we update that selected wall, we also got to make sure that we adjust the countertop size. Now update selected wall. Not going to redraw any of the cross sections. Plan view, yep, we do need to redraw those. Okay, so after that's done redrawing, see here we do have our crown molding. You know what, why don't we just go ahead and delete this. So when you have any kind of molding added as a room component into your drawing, you're not able to select it as if it were an actual microbalance product. So it's basically just a 3D AutoCAD solid. So we can delete it from the drawing. And now into the product list, selecting on room 1, seeing all our products inside of there. Any molding can be deleted through the product list. Just right-clicking and delete selected product. We're going to add that back to the drawing in a minute. Now over to our plan view, we can double check to make sure everything's updated the right way there. So because my layer was on 2D dim again, let's change that. Okay, that looks good. Elevation drawing. Okay, so it looks like all we have to do here is move our hatch return over that 1.5 inches using an AutoCAD move command. I accidentally grabbed that countertop, so just unselected that, holding down my shift key, and move that over 1.5 inches. Probably would have been better if I adjusted the size on both of these cabinets and taken off 3/4 on each, but no big deal. We'll use our edit multiple product prompts for this one. So we're going to modify products, edit multiple product prompts, and we're going to select both upper cabinets and just right click. By selecting just the product 108, we're only adjusting the width on this one. So this will be 33.25, and this one will be 16.25. Now this way is nice because by selecting this box, you can redraw the products on close. So after we've made those changes, close out of that interface, these products are now redrawing. All right, now let's move that upper cabinet over 3/4. You can actually do it from the 2D drawing here, which is nice. Select it. If you're not sure, you can see how it's highlighted there and move it over that 3/4 of an inch. Okay, now over to elevation B. Do the same thing. We're going to adjust that wall length. So there's the current wall length, and let's make this one 1/16. We don't want to adjust the tall wall oven, so we're just going to adjust these two. Select both of the upper cabinets. And the anchor point is going to be at the end point. Double check to make sure we still have our 36 clear. Okay, that looks good. Just reviewing the 2D drawings, making sure those also look good. And just some of the 2D objects need to get updated. You can see how that works. Everything's updated per our field measurements. All the cabinets have been updated and the wall. Okay, so to add that crown molding back, we're just going to change our view to a southwest. Now, if that's not exactly the right view for us, you can hold down Shift and click that center mouse wheel and we can orbit around. It'll probably make it a little bit easier to pick our points that we need. So now under the Draw and Draw Room Components, we're looking for our molding CM07. There it is, right click and pick points to draw this molding. So the origin of the molding from the drawing is on the back side of the molding. So we're going to start it right here at the back side of this filler. So as it draws, we'll finish flush with the fillers and our cabinet doors. Picking our point there. Make sure that you have your polar tracking on. Now we're going to end it here. Again, this is the back side of the molding as it returns down finished end of our cabinet. But we want to make sure that we're going in a straight line in X. So there it's found our intersection. Hit enter and a height above floor, 90. We can add that lineal footage to the project in our product list or do it by each segment or not at all and just have it draw as a 3D model on AutoCAD. Okay, so that looks good. Looks good there. Change to a top view, make sure that it aligned on our cabinet doors. Okay, everything looks good. Now to make sure we have this ready to go out to production, we do have a water line that's coming in behind this tall cabinet that we caught when we went out to field measure. So just to kind of represent what I'm talking about, we have a water line here behind this drawer. It's going to feed in to the refrigerator. We want to make sure that we have a cutout in the side of our cabinet and then also go into the drawer box and decrease the depth on that. So depending where this cutout is, if it was in the center or something, say like that, change my line type to a dashed. So that's what we're working with. We can now go back into our tall cabinet and make some modifications. Make sure we have our select entire product on, isolate that tall cabinet. Now the first thing I want to do is go into our subassembly on our bottom drawer box, under modify, and modify subassemblies, and then into our subassembly prompts. So the first thing I want to do is change the depth of this drawer. We're going to go into the parent subassembly for that. Your drawer options, check the box to edit the drawer box sizes, and now we have our top drawer and bottom drawer depth. The bottom drawer box depth, we're just going to right-click on there to show that formula. So this is where we can just add to an existing formula without completely stomping on it. We're just going to take off 4 inches. Another thing that we could do is go into the nested subassembly. And here we have an option for a rear cutout. So if we didn't want to decrease the depth and we just wanted to make a cutout in the back of this box, we could do that. And once we check the box, you can see how we have these prompts open up. Just leave those as default. So probably not exactly what we would need, but if there was a situation where we needed that cutout in the back of our drawer box, we have that option. I'm going to orbit around here so we can see that we do have that gap, and we're just going to now provide a cutout in the side of that cabinet so there's access for that water line to feed into the fridge. And that'll be coming up in our next video when we get into working with our 2D parts and machining tools. So that'll wrap it up for this one. Just make sure we save this project and we'll get back to it and pick up where we left off. For more information and other details on how to use the software, be sure to check out our knowledge base network on microvellum.com. And also connect with the other members of our Microvellum family on our community forums. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you around.